Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're glad you're here. In this video, we're talking about ditching our budget for 2023. Have Tim and Amy lost their minds? Have we gone crazy? Stay tuned and find out.
We may be just a little bit crazy, but that has nothing to do with what a fantastic job we do with managing our money. In 2015, we left our careers in our late 40s and retired early. That's 8 years we have of a run rate managing our post-retirement budget. Also, in 2020, we sold our home and became full-time nomads, so that's a little over 3 years that we have of living this nomadic lifestyle with a budget.
And speaking of nomadic lifestyle, we are coming to you from Hoi An, Vietnam. We've been in Asia since early January, and we have just been loving it. So very excited to talk about that at some point in the future. But before we jump to 2023, I want to go back. Tim has been tracking his spending, every penny of it, since he got out of college in Quicken. And then when I came into his life about 15 or so years ago, he started tracking my spending as well. Now we would be reviewing these numbers every single month. They're actually quite delightful conversations. I look forward to them because it's nice to have that check-in. So we think that tracking is very, very important. Now when we have been talking about tracking, just spending in general on our channel, many viewers would say, this sounds awful. It sounds cheap. It sounds like a horrible way to live. I wouldn't want to be early retirement sounds awful because you are clearly very cheap and living a life of great deprivation. And so in 2019, we made the decision to start showing our spending month after month after month, over 3 years of it, every single month, all of our spending, and just to show how incredible and luxurious this life is. But there was one big thing missing from that budget, and that was our home. We had a paid off townhome in those days. We only paid $1,000 a month for things like HOA, property taxes, utilities, stuff like that. So when we became nomads, we thought that $12,000 that our home eased up would be really easy to hit this target because things were so much cheaper in like the Airbnb world before COVID. So
So that target leading up to 2019 was we were on a run rate of about $36,000 a year that we were spending with our paid off homes. We, again, like Amy said, we thought we wouldn't have a problem spending that a month. So we set a stake in the ground and said, we're going to have this $36,000 a year target. We actually in 2022 moved to a $48,000. We gave ourselves a raise because of inflation and a variety of other things. And so we moved to a $48,000 a year target. And we've been on that ever since. So something also to mention is we are apologetic because we really, I think, confuse our audience sometimes when we talk about a budget. This really isn't a budget in the traditional sense where we're spending $1,000 a month on groceries and $20 a month on television.
And envelopes.
So we don't have anything like that. This is just our spending, our natural spending is how this works. So also the $36,000, the way we came up with that is that's just what we had historically spent leading up to the year we decided to start discussing the number. That's nothing to do with what we can spend, it's just what we had been spending. We do have an upper limit of spending based upon the 4% rule. We're not going to share that here with you. We're nowhere near what that spending could be. So these are just numbers that we put as stakes in the ground to put ourselves in a little box and sort of gamify our spending. We thought it would be fun to try and stick with these numbers. As it turned out, as our audience watched, oftentimes our audience would become very critical and tell us we're failures because in one month we spent $4,000 and we say we have a $3,000 a month budget. That would confuse people or make them,
Even though we would say
suggest that we're failures. We're
Yes,
not doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah,
So,
and so what we look at is that our FIRE life, what got us to being FIRE was spending much less than we earned. We still don't spend what we can spend. We're wired to spend less than we earn. So that allows us to remain very, very successful in our FIRE lifestyle. And again, what Tim had said is like, I have maybe a big copay for a surgery 2 years ago, and that blew out our budget. And people would say like, see, I told you this whole FIRE thing was a scam and a sham, and these people are selling something that is a complete scam. And I'd be like, we have never asked anybody for a penny on our channel, so I'm not quite sure where the whole scam is, but we weren't interested in that judgment anymore. And we have no idea what this nomadic lifestyle costs in the post-COVID world. Before COVID, we were looking at Airbnbs at about $2,000 a month. Since COVID, it's more like $4,000 $36,000. Now, we don't do a lot of Airbnbs. If you see our video of our recap from 2022, you'll see we only did one last year, but we are looking ahead and might be doing some short-term rentals. And the reality is they're a lot more expensive. So we would also be making some almost like cheap decisions to try to keep in this box of our, whatever our budget was, $36,000, $48,000. We would sometimes make some decisions about things that we would not be doing that we would have wanted to do had we not been publicly talking about our numbers. So we really just want to take like the bumpers off of the bowling alley for like the little kids and just live our life. And we'll still be showing what that looks like. We'll be doing it on a quarterly basis moving forward. We're doing a lot of fast travel as nomads, and we just want to have a lot of fun. So we're not looking to be beholden to a video so often. But so we'll still show you what it looks like, but it just won't have that target attached.
Yeah, I think there's also 4 important things that we discussed, and that's things that we're pulling out of our budget. 2 of them have already been out for the past several years. That's anything to do with our business, whether that's income, which we don't talk about, or expenses. We've decided to pull that out of our discussion. Also, anything to do with our children, our adult children, which is primarily around education expenses for them. That's out of the conversation here. And then 2 additional things we're pulling out this year are charity. That's going to be gone. Charity and gifts. Those are going to be gone from any conversation we have in our budget. So if we do that, we won't be sharing with you what that looks like. And then the 4th thing is going to be taxes. So over the past few years, our taxes have pretty much been 0. So because we're really living off money that we've had for a while, it's just pretty much cash in the bank that's not earning us a ton of money. We were able just to spend that, and we don't owe a lot of taxes because we don't have a lot of income. And then this year we're doing some creative things with aggressively moving over our IRA to our Roth IRA, as well as some other tax things. Our business is earning a little more money, so we have some more taxes there. It becomes very confusing to have a tax conversation with you that makes any sense. And so we're going to pull taxes out of our budget as well.
Yeah, and they're not that much, and that's part of why we did move to Texas, where they have no state income taxes back in 2020. So yeah, so there it is. You don't have to worry that Tim and Amy have gone crazy. This is just doing what we did before we started talking about it publicly in 2019. We've been doing this all the way up until 2019 with no true budget, not even a target, just looking at our spending, understanding is that within our guardrails, and it always has been, and that's why we've been successful every year after year after year. So even in down years like last year, still it's a great success. So we just want to live the best life that we can possibly live. It's not the cheapest life. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to live a life of thoughtful consideration, buy what we want to buy, do the nomad life that we want to do, and not have this target, this budget rein us in. Yeah, we don't want that. So maybe some fun stuff will be coming up in our budget that maybe we wouldn't have had otherwise. I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to be coming out with our quarterly video. At some point, we have a lot happening right now. We're in Vietnam. We're moving up to Hanoi for 1 more week. We are off to Japan. We take a Trans-Pacific cruise with 17 of us from the GoWithLess community on that boat. So we have a lot of fun stuff. So at some point, you're going to see that quarterly video. Not sure when, but stay tuned for it. Anything else?
Nope. Adios.
Hasta luego.